Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being here for another reading session. It is such a pleasure having you. Guys, don't forget to comment in the comment section. Let me know where you're from and let me know how your journey is with learning English. I know, guys, it can seem like a tedious task. However, it is something that you can do easy. It can become very, very natural and easy over time. Thank you so much for being here. It is always a pleasure having you here. Don't forget, guys, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. Thank you for being here. Please drop a like on the video. Please drop a like on the video once you are here. And today we are actually going to be reading about hobby. So we started this reading recently, and today we are going to be continuing this reading. If you have not been here for the last time, then you can go back and watch previous videos about our reading on hobbies. All right, guys, so this is what we're going to be practicing. Please don't forget to share out the video, get others to come and join us while we read. There's also an invitation link, and this invitation link is in the comment section. Please feel free to click on it to come on screen to read with us if you so desire. It is always our pleasure to have anyone who feels that they want to practice reading aloud, read with us. So, yes, guys, go ahead, comment in the comment section, tell us where you're from. Tell us where you're from, guys. But we're going to be reading, and you guys know what we're going to be reading. We're going to be reading English, and we're going to be studying the topic, my hobby. So, guys, you can comment in the comment section also what your hobby is. Comment in the comment section and let us know what your hobby is. I know all of us, we have different hobbies. We have different hobbies, and it's always good to practice reading about your hobby. Practice reading about your hobby because with practice, after a time, you'll be able to master that reading. All right, so let's go ahead and let's begin our reading. So let's practice to read in English about hobbies. Hobbies here refer to more than one. So some of us, we have more than one hobbies. Like, for example, I have more than one hobbies. I have the hobby of reading. I also have the hobby of, what else do I do? Being creative. I like to create stuff. And another hobby for me would be anything that concerns nature. And I like sports too. So these things are what we call hobbies. All right, guys. So we're going to get into it now. And tonight we're going to focus on this page. We have completed the first page today. We're going to be focusing on this page as we learn to read English. Here we are also going to be looking at vocabulary. So we're going to be looking at the meaning for the words, what the words mean. And I hope that this would help you to improve your English significantly. Okay, guys? So let's begin. And we're going to begin by calling the words because that's one thing that we have to keep practicing how to call words in English. So, in our calling the words, we are also going to be looking at the pronunciation and the different segments or chunks in each word. So let's get right into it. So this is a word that we did this morning, and this is a name. With names, they can be spelled different, so you have to pay attention to the person's preference in terms of the pronunciation for this name, because it can be pronounced otherwise. However, this name is popularly pronounced or commonly pronounced as the pronunciation that I'm going to give to you guys. So I would like you to take that one into consideration. So here, the LE at the end is silent, or we can say the E at the end is silent in the word, and we can call the song for L where both L's would make the song, so they would make one song. So we can say that at the end we're going to get L, the CH make the song like SH. So we are going to get sh, like in the word Chevy, and also in the word machine, and in other words like chauffeur, we hear the SH sound for CH. So let's begin to call the word now. E, sh, and L. So when we put it together, we have E, sh, mish, and then we have L, Michelle. And Michelle here is like Michelle Obama, as in the past president of the United States, Obama, his wife, Michelle Obama. So that is the most popular pronunciation for the word Michelle. Okay? But other persons might pronounce it different. They might say Mikel, Mikeli, different pronunciation, guys. You can get. All right. Our next word, we have this word that we have also touched on this morning. So we have all, and then we have wood, and AY makes the sound A. When we put it together, we have all wood is always. So we hear all, then we hear would a. Always, we add S, always. When we talk about always, we're talking about something that happens all the time or something that happens all on all occasions. We can refer to it as always. All right, our next word we hear foot. O. The U here makes a sound like O, so we hear O. So we hear foot, O, and then the two L would make one song. So we hear you put them together, we have foot, or full, full. When something is full, it means that that thing is holding as much as it possibly can, that there is no empty space in it, that it is like right up and overflowing, even maybe overflowing, that it is fully packed or it is cramped, or we can say that this thing is just maybe overflowing or it is stuffed. Another word you can use for full is stuffed. All right, our next word, we have G and L together, good. The two E's in this word make the E sound. So we say good E, good E, glee, glee. You may have never heard that word before because it's not a popular word that is used for saying that somebody is filled with happiness or joy or gladness. A lot of the times we would more often hear gladness, happiness, joy. We hear about cheerfulness. We hear about exhilaration, amusement, all these things. We would hear somebody being elated of or that person is high spirited and stuff like that. But we would hardly hear the word glee. But glee means the same thing. It means, when you are filled with joy, happiness, gladness, when you have great delight, you can use the word please. And this would be especially in cases when you have own fortune. A lot of the times you will hear this. All right. Our next word, the T in the word is silent. And this morning we had a few words where the T was silent. So always watch out for that. So we hear w, a, with the way make the sound, w. We hear a, and then we hear ch, the CH sound. The CH sound here is ch. So we add ing. So our root word is w, a, ch, w, a, ch, watch. And then we have ing added. We have watching, watching. What does it mean to watch? What does it mean to watch? Well, when you watch something, it simply means that you're viewing it, or you observe it, or you look at it, or your eyes are set on it, or that you're gazing at it. Any one of these can be used to say that you watch something. All right. So when you're watching, it means that the action is happening. Okay. Remember, when you add ing, it simply means that the action is happening. All right. I'm sure that you are doing well. We're getting there. All right. So let's go to our next word. And our next word, in this word, the H is silent. Be sure to remember when you're spelling that there is a letter H. So we hear R, and then we hear the Y makes a short I sound. Y at the end or in the middle of words can make a long E sound. E, well, at the end, it's going to make a long song. When it's in the middle of words, it can make either song, can make a short song or long song. In this word, we're hearing a short song in the middle. So we hear R, E, the TH make the D sound. So we hear R, id, rid, and then we hear So we hear rhythm, rhythm. And this morning I was saying that before the song for the M, it sounds like you hear a short I sound the A, you hear rhythm. I always remember when you're spelling that there's no letter that shows or represents that song that you're hearing there, right? I think that's actually the schwa song that you're hearing within there. So the word is rhythm, the root word, rhythm. And when we add I-C, we have it. So our whole word would be rhythmic, rhythmic. When something is rhythmic, what does that mean? So we know that rhythm has to do with a strong pattern of movements or songs. So when something is rhythmic, it means that that thing would give off that strong pattern of movement, or if not, it would give off that strong pattern of song. All right. So strong pattern of music, of movement, or strong pattern of song. And rhythm, we hear about that in dance, in poetry, and in music. Okay, guys. So let's keep going. Our next word is m. Then we hear the O say O. T-I before O-N makes a sound like S-H. So we hear sh. So our word here is m-o-sh and on. Motion. So the T-I-O-N says shun. T-I-O-N says shun. And a lot of English words have that ending. So if you practice that ending, then it will become very easy for you after a time. You would not have to remember that the SH is. So motion is actually just the process or action of moving or being moved. So we can just say motion is actually movement or it is moving or when you shift or even when we go to and fro, we can also call it a motion. Okay, guys, so I'm gonna just take a water break. All right, so our next word, we have to, and then we have AMP making a song, a rhyme that says up. So we have to, up, top. Sorry, guys, top. So what does it mean to top? And sometimes we do top without even think about it. So top here is not like the top water. It's not like the device that we allow liquid or gas to flow from, where from the pipe. It's not that. Tap here is like when you lightly press on something or hit something. When you lightly press on something or hit something gently, and you do it again and again, then you would say that you tap. All right. Our next word, we can see the small word be, and then we see ing, remember ing, ing, just like we saw in the word watching. So that is being. When we put it together, we have the word being, being. What does it mean when we speak about being? So when we use the word being, we're actually talking about something existing. So being has to do with existence in terms of living or being alive or um yeah. Our next word, we have S and P together, scoop, and then U and N, un. So our word is spun, spun, spun. What does the word spun mean? What does the word spun mean? So when something spun, it is actually the past form of the word spin. It simply means to turn or to rotate or to revolve. When something spun, it means to turn, to rotate, or to revolve. And it's the past tense form of the word spin. So you will notice that that's one of the verbs where you change the vowel. So you need to pay attention to it so that when you're using verbs, you can use it correctly. Our next word, we see the short rhyme, bud, like in the word bud. So we can say mud. All right, you're doing well, guys. If you have mastered all those words that we've just done, then that's very good. So let's go ahead now and do this one. I'm so sorry, guys. My throat is so ugly today. I don't know why. So remember, we're gonna look at a word here with ing. Whenever we look at the word with ing, we're gonna call that last because we know the song for that already. That it says it and the ng says need. When we put it together, we get in. So ing says in. So whenever we are looking at the word like that, we will just um, call that after we have called the root word. So the root word here is where we can see the O, W, saying O in this word, and then the BL makes the sound B. So here, B, O, B, O. The word is blow, and then when you add the ing, you have blown, blowing, blowing. What does it mean when something blow or when something is blowing? It simply means that that thing is moving, and when it moves, it creates an air current. So that thing is moving, and when it moves, it creates an air current. So when something blow, you would see it like in motion, as in it might spin or it might turn, and that is it being in motion. Sorry, guys. Sometimes it might even make a 360. That's where it forms like a circle, as in the way that it is spinning, and we would say that it is flowing. All right. So when something is flowing, it is simply in motion. Our next word, or it is moving and it is using air current. Now, our next word, we can see the small word on. However, this word, we have to be, in terms of calling it, we have to look carefully at the word when we are calling it, okay? Because this word, the way that it is sung, it is not spelling that way. So let's look at it. When we see this word, it actually says k, a, s. So that's what we hear. We hear k, ungs. So the ch here is actually making a sound like sh. We don't say conch. We say conks, conks, conks. All right. So it is pronounced as conks. It is pronounced as conks. So keep practicing that word to master it. All right. Oftentimes you would hear the pronunciation too as conch, conch. Um, I can't remember which pronunciation is which, right? But what I'll tell you to do is to go with the one that says conch, conch. Okay? But a lot of non-native speakers would say conch, conch. All right. So when we hear uh, sometimes it sounds like the O here is making a U sound, so we hear rather than O. So we hear conch, conch. All right. So the CH would make the sound ch. But if you're using the non-native way of saying it or that way, then you're going to say conch, conch. Okay. So let's keep going. Our next word, S and H together, we hear sh and L. Remember the EL, just like in the word Michelle, we said that we were gonna group the E and the two L's at the end and let the next E be silent. So it's the same thing. So we hear sh L, and then we add the S at the end, we hear sh L's, shells. And you know what shells are, right? So I didn't tell you what conchs is. I have to actually go to the dictionary to look for a definition to tell you what conchs is. So look, I'm gonna look in the dictionary to tell you what conchs is. All right. I have an idea of what it is, but honestly, it's a sea creature that I still cannot I don't think my definition would help you to understand what it is. If I'm supposed to give you a definition. And I'm being very serious about it because right, it's okay to say when you don't think. Okay, so I'm using the dictionary now and it says a tropical marine mollusk with a robust spiral shell which may bear long projections and have a flared lip. All right, so it's a tropical marine mollusk with a robust spiral shell, which may bear long projections and have a flared lip. So that's the dictionary's definition. So, in other words, it is like a snail-like sea creature. If you know what snail is and you understand how snails fit into a shell, it is the same thing with the conch, that it would fit into a shell. All right. And we're saying here that it has a bare long projection and have a flared lip with a robust spiral shell that has. So one day I would show you guys a picture with it. Honestly, guys. But if I'm supposed to describe it, I'll tell you that it is a snail-like sea creature that belongs to the mollusk family. Mollusks, sorry guys, mollusk family. That's what I would tell you. All right. The next one. So let's go to the next word. We hear ni, the EIG make the sound the A together. So all of this make the sound the A. Actually, the EI is making the sound and the GH is silent. So EI can say A, it can make different sounds. It can say E. EI can actually make four different sounds. It can say A and it can say I, four different sounds. So it can make two short songs for E. So there's two songs for E and E. It can also make the two short songs for I, A and A. Sorry, A and I. Hey, sorry about that. That was a mix up. So we hear N, A, then we hear B, and the OUR says or. The O is silent, and the UR says Okay, so you gotta remember that there's an O there that is silent, and the UR makes a sound whenever you spell the word neighbor, neighbor. The Americans would not spell it with the U, okay? The Americans not spell it with the U. Whenever the Americans are spelling the word neighbor, they're going to spell it with only the OR. So always pay attention to that when you're spelling. If you are using the American English, that's the OUR, they are going to spell it with OR. But if we're using the British English, always remember you will have to use OUR. If you think you got that, guys, then yeah, we got that. Okay. So we have neighbor, that's a root word here. And then we add and two O's would say O. So we have O, like it rhymes with the word stood. So we have hood, hood. So our word is neighborhood, neighborhood. And how many silent letters are in neighborhood? We have a GH that comes after EI, and we have the U, if you are American, that comes after the O at the end. Okay? Our next word. So before we get into the next part, we're going to be reading through. We're going to be reading through just to ensure that we have all the words correct. We're going to call the words first, then we're going to be reading through. So let's go. Michelle, rhythmic, rhythmic, motion, motion, always, always, full, full, tap, tap, being, being, shells, shells, conch, conch, or conch, blowing, blowing, glee, glee, watching, watching, spun, spun, neighborhood, 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 mud, mud. All right. So, do you think you have mastered all those words? If you think you got all those words, then put yes in the comment section. That's what we want to see. We want to see you say, yes, I've got them all. I want to see yes, that you've got them all. Come on, guys. Please get active in the comments. It's going to be healthy for you. Get active in the comment section, guys. All right. So if you think you know the words, we are going to be reading through the words. Let's go. Let's go. Remember, we're reading slowly first, word by word. Michelle was always full of glee, watching the rhythmic motion of a top being spun in mud and the blowing of conch shells in her neighborhood. Do you think you have all those words? If you think you have them, type yes in the comment section, guys. Guys, I don't know if it's my throat that has me like this, but hello. All right, guys. Keep going. Look at the next part of the word. Please go ahead and look at the other words so that you can get them correctly. All right, so that's time up, guys, for you to look at the next set of words. And I want you to really practice this word. Just practice it all the time. Remember, the British would pronounce it conch, and the Americans would pronounce it conch, conch. All right, so just practice that pronunciation. The British, conch, so the CH is actually saying ch, and the Americans would pronounce it as conch, conch. So the CH will make the sound. All right, but if you hear the non-native say, then they're gonna say something completely different. They're gonna say comes. All right, guys. So let's practice for you. All right. So let's see the words here that are too difficult to call. So our next word here, we hear the E, same E in this word. So it means that the E at the end is silent, and it calls the vowel that comes before it, which is need to call its name. So here, so we will not hear the E and the TH makes a sound like D. So we say D, Ease, D, Ease, Tease, Tease. All right, you know what? We did not do the word for neighborhood. We did not do neighborhood. So what is your neighborhood? What is your neighborhood? When you talk about your neighborhood, what are you really talking about? And all of us, we have neighborhoods. Once we take up residence in a place or we live in a place, we will have our neighborhood. So our neighborhood is just actually the area or the community in which we live, whether it is in a town or a city, we would call it a neighborhood. All right, so let's go to our next word. All right, guys. Here we hear then we hear the O make a long sound calling. Then we hear O, mo. Then we hear this ending. That's in a lot of English words. It is a suffix and it says men, like man. When you have more than one, you say men, and then you add the sound. So you hear meant, and then we'll say moment. And after that, we'll add the S sound. So moments. And what is a moment? So a moment is a period of time, or it is a lot of persons may say that it is a short period of time or brief period of time, or a little while. Some persons may say otherwise that it can be like a second or a minute. So a moment can be any of those things. All right. Our next word, we have ow. AW says ow in English. And then we have E because the E is here. However, the E is not silent. The original word or the root word would not have the N. So the E would be silent, okay? So we hear the A say A, and then we hear the E and the N go together to make the rhyme N, like in the word hen and ten and men. So when we put that together, we have ow, egg, awake, and N, awaken, awaken. What does it mean to be awakened? So when you are awakened, it simply means that you have got up from your sleep or you rose from your sleep or um, you just stopped sleeping. Yeah, you just stopped sleeping. So that would mean that you are awakened. Our next word, we have Sienna making the sound K, E making the sound E. A also makes the sound A, so these make their own sound. So we have K, E, and A create. The root word would actually have an E after the T, so it would be create. However, and this E would be silent. However, we add if, create if, and then ity, that's the ending for a lot of words in English. We hear et. So our word is creativity. Creativity. Creativity is our word. All right? Creativity. Our next word, we hear X. Or what does it mean to be creative? Or what does it mean when something is filled with creativity? It simply means that this thing is something that we can see it is like, really comes from your imagination, or we can use words like innovative. We can say that it's innovative or it's expressive. We can also say that it is something that shows a lot of talent, right? Or something that is original, something that you have created from your own ideas, something that was done individually. Or we can say that it was something that has ideas that are not so common or so popular, right? That's what we can call creativity. Our next word is X, then we have P and L, P, then O, because there should be an E here in the root word. So we hear explore, the O-R-E says O, and then we add ing. So the word is explore and in exploring, right? If you don't know the word because the E is missing from the root word, because when you are adding ing, you have to remove the E, you might say explore, or. So you might just drop the song to or, exploring, right? However, it should be exploring. And to explore something, it simply means that you are just going through it to learn about it, or we can say that you more or less you are inspecting it. In a way, you can say that, or you are searching, or you are investigating through it, or even touring it. We can use all those words to say that you explore something. You can even use the easy word, you look into something. Whenever we look into something, you're exploring it. Okay, guys, I think you're doing well. So our next word, we're going to put the S and K together. We have sk, then it's the small word ill. The I makes the sound A, the two L make the sound R. We put them together ill, like when you're sick. So we have skill, and then we have the S sound, skills. Remember, we always call the first part of the word, which is the root word, and then we add whatever endings are added with the S, ing, ed, es. We add those after. So what is a skill? And I know that many of you are skilled people. So when you have a skill, it simply means that you are able to do something well, or that you have the ability to do something. So To be skilled would be that you have the expertise in something, or you have the ability in something, or the experience, or the cleverness in something, right? Or we can say when you're trained in a particular area that you have a skill. All right, you're doing well so far, guys. You're doing very well. So our next word, we have the word L. You can see EL here, and then so we have L. Help. When you are helping somebody, you are actually assisting them. When you help somebody, you assist them, or we can say that you aid them, or we can say that you just share their work, whatever, if it's a work or you share their burden, that is you helping. Our next word, we have EAR in it. In this one, the A is silent. So we hear you, mm. So the EAR is actually making the sound the So whatever you do, always remember that there's an A there to help you to get the word learn. Learn. So we hear learn. Remember the EAR song, the most popular song would be A, but in this word we're actually hearing which we can hear in a lot of different words like heard. You can hear the ER say oh. Always pay attention to that. So that word is learn. When you learn something, it simply means that you gain new knowledge or you get to know something. All right. Our next word is me, and the EW we get U. So we get me, you. So we get me, you, new. So the song there that we have for EW is you. So we get me, you, new, new. And guys, sometimes I do question that song for new. Sometimes I question whether it's who or you. And you may have the same question, whether it's who or you. Because you hear ooh, new, ooh. But however, we also hear and you, new. I don't know. To me, it depends on how you say the word, the song that you would hear. All right? I don't know. I question it. Our next word, when something is new, it means that that thing is something that has never been used before. Something that has never been used before, you would call it new. So let's say I get a new bag, that means that this thing has never been used before, or it has never been introduced before or discovered. Okay? So more or less something that is new is being used for the first time, or being found for the first time, or being heard of for the first time. Our next word we get, and then we hear ing, ing, you see in here. So we say ing, thing. So we hear ing, thing. The TH sound we hear there, that is where we put our tongue between our teeth. The voice sound here and in thing. We add S. Add that would be things. That would be things. The word thing is referred to what? When you use the word things, you're actually talking about items or stuff or maybe tools, devices, utensils, and so on. Some people would refer to things as stuff. Yes. So thing would actually be used for any object you would call a thing. Our next word, we see lu and it. So we see the small word it, lit, and then we hear lit, and the LE says O. O. Remember, because we have two T's, we don't need to say t. We just make the t sound one time. So we say lit, O, lit, O. So we hear little, 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 lit, O, little. All right, our next word, and this one is quite easy. We hear d, and then we see the small rhyme there, id, like in the word lid, mid, and rid. So we have did. Did is the past tense for the word do. All right. Our next word, we have K and N together. Whenever K and N goes together, the K is silent, the N makes a sound. So here, me, the OW says O, like in the word blue. We heard the OW making a sound O. So when we put it together, we have no, no. And this no is like knowledge. It is like when there is something that you are aware of or something that you just can't say that you realize or you have information on or you notice, you can say that you know. Okay? Our next word is the same word to the top, do, with TH making the sound do. Then the E says E, the S is yeah, the N is silent. So we have the E's, these. And this is used to refer to more than one thing. You would say these. All right, our next word here. Then we hear hub, and then we hear the IES says ease. The IES going together to say ease. So our word is hub, ease, hobbies, hobbies. And hobbies are things that we do to pass time. We sometimes call them leisure, or we would call them pastime. And they're things that we do in our spare time when we have time, when we are not occupied with work or everyday life stuff, then we would do them. And these things, they're things that we do for pleasure or for relaxation. Our next word, the unit is silent, and so is the L. So when you're calling this word, always remember that the U and L is silent. So we hear W, O, and the O makes a long sound. We hear W, would, would, would. And would here is the past tense for the word will. Would here is the past tense for the word will. Our next word, we hear E. So the E makes a long sound because this E here, if it was just Eve, then the E here would have been silent, right? So we have E, then we have N. So we can see the ending here that we can find in a lot of words, end, like in the word words that end meant. So we have Eve, and then we have end, event, and then we have you, event, and we have you, and Al, and Lee. So remember the Y at the end makes a sound like E. So ly can say Lee and can say lie. In this word, we hear Lee. Most of the times in longer words, that's when you hear the E sound. So pay attention to that too. So we have even, and then we have al, eventual, and then we have E, eventually, eventually. So the word is eventually. Eventually, when you say something would happen eventually, what does that mean? So eventually means when you use that expression, it simply means that that thing will happen in the end, or that that thing will have to happen after a long time, or at last, or finally, or ultimately, it will happen. Or some people use it to mean that it will happen one day or someday. And a lot of times, eventually is used after a long period of time, right? So you would say that, okay, I believe that eventually I would become a doctor. So you're actually talking about it to be something in the future. When you talk about it, you're talking about it to be something in the future. So after you have had a long setback or a long delay, then you can use the word eventually. And you know what setback or delay means, right? It simply means you have had a pause or you have been held back or stopped something that you're doing for a while. Our next word we hear the SMH makes the sh sound. Remember, E is at the end, so the E is silent, and then the A would make the long A sound. And if we look at this, we see the word ape, ape, because remember the E silent, so we hear the A say A, ape. So when we put SMH with it, we have sh and ape, shape, sh, ape, shape. What is a shape? So you have so many different types of shape. Not types. You only have two types of shape. You have 3D shape and 2D shape, but you have different shapes. So shape is actually where you have something that has an outline or form, um, or a frame. You would call it a shape. Or something that has a figure, you can also call it a shape, right? So that's what you can see on the outside. You can see the shape because it has an outline or it has a form or a structure or a design or a figure or a pattern. All those we can use to mean the same as shape. Our next word, we have you. The I makes the long sound I because the E at the end is silent. So we get I and so when we put that together, we have you, life. The E silent. What is life? So life is just basically our existence. When we talk about life, we're talking about our existence, right? And that existence would include things like our growth, how we function, like what activities we do, how we change, all that would be life. And when we see the word way there, so remember the W make the sound, the ANY says it. So we hear it would. All right, we're getting closer to the end. The ER in this word says so we hear ev, nev, and never. So in something you say never to something, it means that it will not happen. It means that this thing will not happen at no time in the past or the future. Not ever. Okay? On no occasion. All right. And our final word, yeah. And we just passed we're just about to pass the hour mark. Our final word and meaning for it is the word im. So we put the I and N together. So we hear im, and then we have ah. When G comes before E, I or Y, we hear a song like J. So we hear image, and then we hear imagine. The E at the end is silent. So the word is imagine, and then we add the ed. So we hear imagined, imagined. So the ed makes the D sound. So we hear imagined. All right. So that's where we have come, guys. I hope that you remember all the words because we're going to be calling them now and we are going to be reading through them. However, let's look at imagine. When we use imagine, it's currently in the past tense form because it is added to it. So when we imagine something, it simply means that we form a mental image in our mind. So that means that we just form images in our mind that helps us to actually see the picture of what it is, or is it something that we visualize or we actually see in our mind, like, using the eyes of our mind, we see it or we form a picture. So that is what it means to imagine something. All right. So with all that, guys, we're going to be reading through now. Before we read through, we're going to be calling the words to make sure we have them. Then we're going to read through. So let's go. These moments awaken creativity, exploring skills, help learn new things, little did know. These again, hobbies would eventually shape life way never imagined. All right, guys. Do you think you have it all together? I hope you do. If you do, let's go ahead and let's read. And this time we're going to be using a blue pen to go through the reading. So we're looking for the blue line, guys. We're looking for the blue line. So let's get to it. Are you ready to go? I'm ready. Hello, Mark. How are you doing? Thank you so much for joining me live. It's good to have you. Thank you for joining. So we're happy to see you. And we hope that you are learning how to read in English. So Mark, please comment in the comment section. Let us know what words you still want us to do for you. What words you still having problems calling. All right, so we are going to go through this part now. Remember, we will read word by word when we read using our sentences. These moments awaken her creativity, exploring skills and help her to learn new things. Little did she No, these hobbies would eventually shape her life in a way she never imagined. All right, so if you guys have all that, then it means that we can now go and read the phrases. When we read in phrases, it simply means that we can understand what we're reading easier when we read in phrases. So let's go ahead and let's read through in phrases. These moments awaken her creativity, exploring skills, and help her to learn new things. Little did she know these hobbies would eventually shape her her life in a way she never imagined. But sometimes when we read, we tend to insert a lot of things that are not there, right? We do. That happens. Okay, so now we're going to be reading through fluently. Let's go. Ready to go? If you're ready, type ready in the comment section. Let's go. These moments awaken her creativity, exploring skills, and help her to learn new things. Little did she know these hobbies would eventually shape her life in a way she never imagined. If you were able to do that, then I'll say congratulations. You're going to be reading it one more time. Then we're going to take it from the top, and then we're going to stop there. Let's go. Remember, we're looking for fluent reading. We want to ensure that we read in a sentence form. These moments awaken her creativity, exploring skills, and help her to learn new things. Little did she know these hobbies would eventually shape her life in a way she never imagined. How was that? Let me know in the comment section. Let me know how you feel about it. And if you guys think that you have mastered, so that we can begin from the top. We're going to call the word again to ensure that you have good sounds for each word or pronunciation. Michelle, always, full, glee, watching, rhythmic, motion, tap, being, spun, mud, blowing, conch, or conch. So the British would say conch, and the American would say conch. All right? Shells, neighborhood, neighborhood. These moments awaken creativity, exploring skills, help learn new things. Little did know these hobbies would eventually eventually shape, shape, life, way, never, imagine, imagine. All right, guys. So now that we have all the words, we're going to be reading two times. And then we're going to stop right there for today. Let's go ahead. Are you ready? Let's read through if you are ready. Michelle was always full of glee, watching the rhythmic motion of a tap being spun in mud and the glowing of conch shells in her neighborhood. These moments awaken her creativity, exploring skills, and help her to learn new things. Little did she know these hobbies would eventually shape her life in a way she never imagined. All right? If you think you have all those together, then I guess you do. I guess you do. Because we do. We do. We do. So let's just increase our pace to read a bit faster. Then we're going to be stopping there for today. All right? So let's go. Ready? Let's go. Ready. Michelle was always full of glee, watching the rhythmic motion of a top being spun in mud and the glowing of conch shells in her neighborhood. These moments awaken her creativity, exploring skills, and help her to learn new things. Little did she know these hobbies would eventually shape her life in a way she never imagined. If you were able to do that, then bravo! Bravo, bravo, bravo! So I'm going to erase all the clues and we're just going to read one more time and then we're going to stop right there for today. Okay? I'm just erasing the clues. We're doing 1, 2, 2, 3 using the clues. And this is our final reading. And that is to ensure that you now know all the words. So if you don't know them, then all that reading we've done, you should have already learned them by now. And remember, I'm using British pronunciation. So when words end with ER, you're going to hear me make a short sound for them. You hear rather than you know that longer sound. And the word, this word, I'm going to be pronouncing it as conch because that's the British pronunciation. However, if you want to use the American pronunciation, it would be conch. So the CH will make the sound conch. Alright, so you can choose which one you want to make. And all the best of it. So let's go ahead and let's read through. And this is our final reading. Remember, we want to ensure that we can read it without mistakes and also that we can read it without using the clues. So let's go. Are you ready? I am ready. Let's go. Ready. Let's go. Oh, let's guys. You're ready. Let's go. Michelle was always full of glee, watching the rhythmic motion of a top being spun in mud and the glowing of conch shell in her neighborhood. These moments awaken her creativity, exploring skills, and help her to learn new things. Little did she know these hobbies would eventually shape her life in a way she never imagined. All right. So guys, if you were able to do that, thumbs up to you. I'm gonna just do it one more time just for us to just make it right. Since we're gonna make it right, let's go. Right? Extra practice. One extra practice, guys. Let's go. Michelle was always fully watching the rhythmic motion of a top being spun in mud and the blowing of conch shells in her neighborhood. This moment awakened her creativity, exploring skills, and helped her to learn new things. Little did she know these hobbies would eventually shape her life in a way she never imagined. And if you guys have all that together, I say hooray, hooray, hooray. If you're able to have that, then hooray for you. All right, guys, so thank you so much for watching me. Thank you for being there. Thank you for commenting. Ma, thank you for commenting. And it was a pleasure having you here. And we hope that you have seen some improvement in your English, in calling words, and also in reading. Just keep practicing. Those of you who would come at a later time, I hope that this reading will help you to improve your English tremendously. Thank you for being here. My voice has not been well for this tonight. However, thank you for being here. And, you know, glory to God that we were able to get through the reading. So I hope that you guys will continue to pause the reading, go back to the vocabulary, and remember you will start the reading and vocabulary at about 3 minutes, 3 to 4 minutes. If you were not here and you're now joining, you can go back to the starting at about 3 to 4 minutes where you can learn the vocabulary that we've covered and also learn how to break the words in parts and your letters that are silent for your spelling purposes. And where you learn grammar, then it will be good for you to practice those grammar too. So thank you for being here. Practice the pronunciation in English. And remember, this is one of the words that we were looking at keenly. And that's because in the British pronunciation, you would hear conch, conch. And in the American pronunciation, you would hear conch. So the CH at the end for the British pronunciation makes an SH sound and the CH for the American pronunciation makes a K sound. So we get a K sound. All right. So guys, practice those words and also just enjoy yourself reading to the best that you can. Thank you for being here. And if you have not done so, ensure that you subscribe so that we can continue to learn how to read English.